When someone gets arrested, one of the first questions they ask is, do I need to hire a lawyer or will the court just give me one? It feels like a simple choice, but the truth is that decision could completely change how the case turns out. Unfortunately, most people don't understand the difference between a public defender or hiring a private attorney until it's way too late. And making the wrong decision doesn't just cost you time, it could cost you your freedom, your job, or your future opportunities. And this is why it is so important to know the difference between the two. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of public defenders and private lawyers, so you know exactly what to expect and how to protect yourself if you ever find yourself in this situation. My name is Brian Epps. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Over the years, I've seen cases turn on a dime simply because of the decision made at this point. Whom you decide to hire can make a huge difference in your case. First off, we're going to talk about the pros of working with a public defender. Look, public defenders are good lawyers. Many of them are the sharpest people in the courthouse. One of the benefits of hiring a public defender are they can be free if you qualify. To apply for a public defender, you first submit a financial application to the court. If the judge approves you, then you'll get your lawyer. However, if you're approved, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have no costs. A lot of the times, courts make you reimburse the county for their funds. Now, the amount of the reimbursement will depend on your ability to pay and your financial situation. What that means is you're going to get representation and it's going to be at a discounted rate. Another pro of working with a public defender is they're in court every single day. They know the judges, they know the prosecutors, and that can have a positive impact on your case. And another thing to consider when working with a public defender is they have a ton of trial experience, based solely on the sheer number of cases they handle. Now, those are some of the pros of working with a public defender, but let's look at the other side of the coin. One of the biggest concerns people have with working with a public defender is they tend to have huge caseloads. It's not uncommon for an individual public defender to have 100, 200, 300 cases at a time. I know because I've been there. Here's another thing to consider. You don't get a choice in who your public defender is. The court will assign the next available attorney on the list. This means you could get a seasoned veteran who's been around for decades in the courthouse. Or you could get a new attorney with very limited experience, and there is nothing you can do about it. And because of their limited time, far too often people meet their public defender for the first time right before walking into court. Now, when you hire a private attorney, the entire dynamic changes. First, you get personal attention. Your case isn't just another file on a huge stack. This means you have more resources to defend your case. We've got investigators, staff, and the time to actually comb through every piece of evidence. And you will also have direct accessibility to your lawyer. You can meet with us, ask questions, and actually know what's going on in your case. And I encourage it. We have an entire team of people working just to represent you. When you hire us, you hire the whole law firm. And this allows us to build a strategy around you, not just taking a one-size-fits-all approach. But there are some things you want to consider when you're hiring a private attorney. It is an investment. It will cost money, and the fee could depend on the complexity of your case. More complex, more money. And make no mistake, not all private lawyers are equal. You need to make sure you're hiring someone with real experience in criminal defense, not just a general practice attorney who handles a little bit of everything.